Hold on for a second. What's up, YouTube family? I would like you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to our video. It would help us get into the algorithms so we can be seen and bring more engaging content to you guys. So like I said, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Welcome to another edition of the Pick and Downs podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zhu and P-Bush. How you fellas doing?
Doing well, man. We had a nice little NFL draft this past week, and NBA playoffs. Zhu was just saying some of the best first round weekend of basketball we've seen in a long time, man. A lot of first rounds the past couple of years have been a little, just kind of let's wait till the conference semis, and then we'll start to get good matchups. But some of these up and coming teams, Pistons, obviously Pacers are up pretty big on the Bucks. I think Game 5 is going on right now, but it might be a close one. Tough loss for Lillard, man. Hate to see that for him, just as a player in general. Might have to start having a conversation about him. I'll digress on that. We could say that for another pod, but yeah, man, it's been fun to watch. Enjoy making some money on parlays, man, and I hope to take a nice little 20-piece off Zoo. Starting when do they play Zoo tomorrow? Game 5?
I got every Lakers game starred right now. Those are my must-see TV games right now.
And the Clippers.
Oh, there's been some awesome here. Like,
bet the Clippers?
Those are the two series.
Yeah, the Nuggets-Clippers series has been a classic. It's an absolute classic, back and forth. Really good players on both sides, both balling out. The Knicks-Pistons series, physicality at another level. We're seeing Brunson still.
Sure.
Playoff Brunson is still there. And now you see the Warriors, too. That series, even the Rockets, it's a cute story. They're about to get their ass sent home, but they've been playing extremely tough, extremely physical. But shout out to Jimmy Butler. Playoff Jimmy is still alive at 35 years old because what he did last night was something special. So we're seeing a lot of special performances right now and a lot of close games. Like we're seeing that physicality ramped up in the playoffs right now. Like the refs are letting people push each other. I don't know if you saw that. He was just shoving LeBron. LeBron's like, what's this guy doing? But, man, I love that shit so much.
Man, this makes
keep
for
the
theater.
physicality on because that adds to the level of the game. Like, playing through physicality as a guy who's a finesse player, I do not like physicality, man. I just can't put the three-point line. Physicality adds another level of a game in basketball where the guys that are physical freaks athlete can take advantage and the guys who are not, they can't.
Listen, everybody was tooting their horns earlier in the season. Oh, is the NBA dead? Oh, is the NBA got a viewer problem? Yes, two things can be true. In most sports that are long regular seasons like the NBA, MLB, it's just going to be tougher for fans to be engaged every day. And honestly, you could probably say for the players to be engaged for 82 games to play like how they're playing the playoffs. But everybody and their mom, dad, whoever's willing to listen, when the playoffs come, this is where we love to watch the physicality. To your point, I know it sucks that Dame got hurt, but the rivalry he had between Tyrese, and I thought that was classy for Tyrese saying that it was just a lot of competitive stuff. It wasn't nothing personal. This is what we love to see. So, like, to me, the NBA has been as good as it's been. And, you know, I know it's the playoffs, and people say, well, every playoff is good. Well, the NBA playoffs, at least for me personally, it just feels better when in the first round you got teams that are competing. So we're going to get into the playoffs right now, just talk about a lot of the updates on the series, and P-Bush, you can go ahead and start us off.
Yeah, man. I mean, shout out to Tyrese Halliburton. That's a classy thing to do.
Yeah, for
100%, you know, and I think that's what we all wanted. I think that, and I said this last week, that the NBA during the regular season, they're all buddy-buddy, man. They're very fraternal, a lot of friends. But if you can somehow get that competitive switch to turn on when come playoff time, and, you know, I'm sure Ant grew up watching LeBron, Zoo, and he grew up love watching him. He probably emulated part of his game after him. But you know that, you know, you can't look up to your idol when you're playing against him. You are going to try and take him out cutthroat style, stand on their neck, right? And that's what they're trying to do, man. But I'll let you dive into that series, Zoo. I know you want to dive into JJ Redick and the Lakers there, but I got to talk about one player, man, who was supposed to be, you know, he's not a star at this point, but he was the leading scorer on his team and has been completely non-existent in this series, and that's Jalen Green, man. We got to start having a conversation. You called him a cute story, Zoo. Yeah. I'm sorry, man, but Fred VanVleet almost won them that game last night.
Okay, he got for once.
I didn't want to say anything because it's a mute point, but because they lost. But yeah,
he was. I got to give him to that. You know how hot he was? He was so hot from 3-pointer My cousin who watches the podcast, she texted me. He's like, "Oh, the Fran VanVleet, you jinxed him. He's going off on him." I'm like, Jesus Christ! You listen to the Fran VanVleet going on, and she knows my hatred of Fred VanVleet. He had a cute game, and he was going off. I got to shout out to him. He was going off, but like a lot of that, I think he's a pretty streaky shooter.
He's very
like all this is just high pick and roll. He gets it, he just jacks it up. Like it's not much like in the offense.
We saw games where he was shooting 3 of 12, 3 of 14 from 3. Obviously, let alone his interior scoring is not there. He's always been an undersized guy. So, just looking at that team, this is the classic experience versus first time being here and being a relevant team. I know they were kind of hanging around that 500 mark the last couple of years, and Udoka, to be fair, has these guys playing super hard. Sengun, man, he was getting his shot going, especially when Draymond was in foul trouble.
He's so skilled.
I get that, but man, he is so skilled. His footwork is insane. I know his efficiency might not have been there, but look, when you're looking at the rest of that team, how they played last night outside of that VanVleet getting hot, he had to take that many shots. Jalen Green, 3 of 8, man. I don't think I saw him take a shot after maybe 6 minutes of game clock left in the third quarter. I mean, he was not even touching the ball. Maybe his confidence is shot. Maybe Udoka says, hey, if you start less than 50% in the first half, we're just going to force the offense through Sengun. We're going to force the offense through VanVleet, Amen Thompson, who I don't know if you guys saw that one finish that he had on the left-hand side where he double clutched around and finished. I was like, man, this guy has to be one of the most athletic players in the league. Fun to watch.
He's insane.
I think this team has a lot of really good pieces, and we've talked about this. This is a prime trade destination place, and they have so many different pieces that all fit.
Assets.
And assets. They don't all fit together on a team. So they got to pick and choose which guys they think they want to keep, which they want to get rid of. And then I think if they make a big move for a player, maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo, that could be very interesting. Get a little experience. I know he's got other destinations he probably want to go to, and maybe they wouldn't want his age. But, there's going to be players out there that are looking for trades, and I'm sure there will be opportunities. And I just don't think that team can really get over the hump until they make a big move like that. Even though they do have some solid young talent. So I got the Warriors closing out that series. Maybe the Rockets sneak off another game. But, man, even Steph Curry didn't even have to have a big game in. Podziemski, huge. Moses Moody played great minutes as well. It was really the other guys that were carrying that team. And obviously Jimmy Butler doing his thing. Especially from the free throw line, man. He's the king of the free throws. He knows the physicality of the game, but he knows where the refs kind of have their breaking point in calls, and he's very good at attacking that, even in a differing referee environment.
He's a free throw merchant, but like it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
Yeah, if that
and he
makes
also
sense.
gets a lot of and ones. He's also like, it's not like he's just, chucking up you get the guy pump fake and throw it up.
Yeah.
He's actually like driving to the hole and getting serious contact. So yeah, man, Warriors, I had a future on them to make it out of the West. With the way some of these series might be turning out, I probably shouldn't have cashed out, but I'm glad that I did overall. I do think there are better options in the West. But the other one I wanted to talk about was the Knicks and Pistons. You guys already touched on it a little bit, but Cunningham, real deal. But I'm sorry, man, you got to hit that jump shot at the end of that game. That is your shot. It was an easiar look than what Cooper Flagg had, man.
It kind of did remind me of that shot.
It was exactly the same, a little further out and more wide open, to be completely fair. He hits that shot 50% of the time. Let's be completely honest, right? But also, we got to be straight up. Tim Hardaway got fouled on that last play.
Nah, that's whatever. Whatever.
You can't call it, though.
Yeah,
you just can't.
It's whatever. I give it to you. It's a foul, but the refs in the moment, they couldn't really tell because it was boom, boom play. It was like extremely fast.
Like every foul. I know. And I'm not a Pistons fan. I don't really care. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, that was pretty blatant. Like, there are more ticky-tack fouls that we've seen get called in the playoffs, and I understand the circumstances. But if you're a Pistons fan, man, that series is 2-2.
I'm irate. Yeah, I'm irate.
I'll be more mad about the turnovers. Because at the end of the game, there were a couple of possessions. Kate Cunningham had the ball. Turnover. Like, you can't be turning the ball over in the clutch.
And I know. You can't rely on
Karl-Anthony Towns on the other side. Fadeaway mid-range jump shot over the backboard. Switch. Karl-Anthony Towns does his little Steph Curry impression.
Yeah.
That move was ridiculous. That was just an all-time shot for him.
We do have to talk about that because Thibodeau's finally balancing the offense a little bit, whether or not that's him or his assistants, or it's just Jalen Brunson deciding to, hand the reins over a little bit. But finally getting other guys involved. It's not a one-man show. This is still Brunson's team, and he needs to be a beast for them to win this series. It's been a hard-fought series. And I think across the league, and then I'll let you guys get into other series here, this has probably been the most physical NBA playoffs I've seen in a long time. And a lot of these series are getting very chippy. We saw it in the Rockets series. We saw it in the Bucks series. We've seen it in the Knicks series. We've seen it in the Lakers series as well. I think the refs are trying to find that, I love it too. It's fun to watch. It makes it more competitive, makes these games a lot closer. Betting the under has been absolutely fantastic in the NBA playoffs. It's also a good thing to keep in mind. But, I just think this is the tone of the NBA that is what people fell in love with. You can watch highlights and you can watch big plays all game. But when guys are fighting over screens, when they're truly locking dudes up, getting in their face, trying to, not just Dylan Brooks chirp them, man, but, actually physically body them a little bit, it just makes the game that much more fun to watch, and it's that much more competitive. So I've been having a blast, man. I wish the Bulls were involved, but then again, they might have gotten swept. They might have been
swept by 150, man. They would have hit another record. All-time points record swept. I wouldn't have been surprised.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
Yeah, it's fun watching these young teams come up. But, man, this Western Conference, and then, Zoo, I'll let you handle it. But, man, this Western Conference is really flipping outside of the Thunder, man. All underdogs.
Absolutely. First, I'm going to start with the team in L.A. versus the Denver Nuggets, the reigning MVP right now, but potentially not in the future. This series right now is just a masterclass battle of two different styles of offenses right now. It is a beauty to watch these two rosters. Like this Clippers team, shout out to Zubac. He might be Nikola Jokic might be cooking him, but Zubac is making him absolutely work, and his ability to offensive rebound and that physicality as a center right now. That's the type of center you need in the NBA playoffs right now, and he's doing a hell of a job, especially offensive rebounding, misses, and pretty much helping this Clippers team dominate at the center position where they've been, I would say, been lacking the center guy in the last couple of years. Like Zubac has really improved his game into that. This is a two-way center where he could score on the offensive end and be a defensive presence, even though Jokic is absolutely going off. He's averaging a 29-point triple-double, so Jokic is doing Jokic things. But his physicality, I think, has been awesome for this roster. But for me personally, right now, like this Denver Nuggets team, man, this roster got like nobody. No juice. It's the starting lineup. Trash, like the bench is horrendous. They're kind of doing the JJ Redick where they're just playing their starting lineups. Like pretty much like if you look at their minutes in the last game, Aaron Gordon 43, Michael Porter 42, Nikola Jokic 43, Murray 42, Christian Braun 43. So you got guys off the bench. The most guy playing the most minutes is Peyton Watson with a little 13 minutes. 13 minutes. And if you look at that bench selection, Jalen Pickett, Vlatko Konkar, DeAndre Jordan, and Peyton Watson. That's your bench rotation right there. Like Jesus Christ. And then you look at that lineup versus a Clippers is more a collective unit where they got a bench of Nicholas Batum, Derek Jones Jr., Ben Simmons, still a good defender, and Bogan Bogdanovic. That's their bench. Night and day with the bench rosters right there. Yep. Night and day. So obviously they got the better bench rosters, but let's go with the starting lineup. Right now, Kawhi Leonard right now, he healthy, his midi is going, and he is offensively aggressive. That's what I like to see when Kawhi is offensively aggressive, looking for a shot. His shot is absolutely looking pretty right now. And since James Harden has his moments where he can't be the go-to alpha guy, he doesn't need to be the alpha. Surprised the complimentary score right now is Norman Powell. Norman Powell is putting averaging up a 20 year this year. He's averaging 22 for the season. He's been extremely effective, especially the last couple of games. Norman Powell's definitely picked up his scoring, and they need him as the complimentary pretty much two guard because Harden's playing traditional point guard right now. He's not really looking for a shot. He's played the traditional point. He just caters to Kawhi Leonard in the setup to Zubac and Kawhi Leonard. Like as I mentioned before, Zubac, man, the guy had 6 assists the last game. 6 assists. He's a very versatile center. Like he's just a big bruiser. No, he's putting up 19 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. Like Zubac is
on probably 60% shooting,
65% shooting. like he's been on. Like he's been like the second league for this Clippers team right now. So he's playing extremely effective basketball. While on the other side of the ball, it's a one-man show. is an absolute one-man show. That like Nikola Jokic needed 36 points, 21 rebounds, and 8 assists and 2 steals to win that game. And they barely won it thanks to Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Like, thanks to Aaron Gordon. Because, like, I love Nikola Jokic. That
was
last
insane.
shot. That last shot, I don't know what he was doing. I know he got the soundboard shuffle, man, but that shot didn't even look in rhythm. Air ball. But that was the greatest air ball in the history of basketball. Because that dunk by Aaron Gordon, that putback, that was unbelievable IQ timing to catch that and be able to get it off 0.1 seconds. 0.1. That was a storybook ending. Like, I was watching that game at a pizza place. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, Aaron Gordon with the – like, him and Jokic are a perfect chemistry combination. Like,
he's been the second best player for the Nuggets, honestly.
Yes, especially with Jamal Murray. Kind of struggling.
I don't think he's right. I don't think he's right.
His first game, like, he's shooting really low percentages at 42%. Last game was by far his worst, and they need him to play at an all-star level to contend. Because as I mentioned, their starting lineup's all they got, and they don't trust nobody else. Like, you got Christian Braun playing 43 minutes. This guy's a key rotation guy now. Like, Christian Braun, like, I love Christian Braun. I think he's a nice bench preserve. Like, obviously his stats are up because he's playing more. Yeah, like, he's a nice six-man guy. Like, that's what he is. Yeah. If he is your, like, if that guy's playing 43 minutes, like, Jesus Christ, this roster has no depth at all. And it's gonna be a battle of attrition. They gotta finish this Clippers team as fast as possible because they just gonna keep getting tired. Like, what does Jokic need to do? Like, if Jokic puts up 20 points and less than like 10 assists, they got 0% chance of winning. Because it is a definition of Nikola Jokic is the entire plan. Everything revolves around Jokic and this.
Well, I mean, that is his game though. Like his usage is very high. So it's like the problem is he don't have, at least to your point, you don't have the ample amount of support. Like Jamal, I don't think Jamal's right. I think Jamal is just playing. I don't think he's 100% because it's just he don't look like the second best player.
He was injured coming before the playoffs.
Or maybe he's out of shape. I don't know.
That could be too. He could be out of shape too. He also plays himself in the regular season into shape. As you know, his regular seasons are not that impressive. In the playoffs, he sets up. But for me personally, right now, like I had this as a Game 7 type series. And I was leaning Clippers because of the depth in the roster. And I'm still leaning Clippers right now.
Come on.
I'm leaning Clippers because I think the team is better overall and the surrounding pieces. And I feel like the only problem with the Clippers is, as a Chicago Bulls fan, Chris Dunn as a key starting lineup player is a problem. Chris Dunn is all defensive player. I remember Chris Dunn on the Bulls. He could D up. He mans up. But that shot is broken. It has not changed in a decade of like he has improved not at all. Let's look at his 3-point shot. 1 for 6 all day, every day.
He's never been a 3-point shooter.
I know, but 1 for 6? 1 for 6 in the modern NBA? Okay, that's embarrassing.
Okay, that's half of what Van Vliet in one game. At least he's not like thinking that he can do it.
Yeah. He's probably just taking those shots because he's wide open.
He's pretty much taking one. My defense is going to be, I'm going to help off of Chris Dunn and force him to be a 3-point shooter, and he's going to have to take it. And he's attempted 5 threes a game in this series at 31%. All day, every day. Like, Chris Dunn, like, this guy is going to be a liability.
That's not going to kill you.
Yeah, it is.
He brings something on the defensive end.
No,
So when they run a high pick and roll and they run help defense for Harden or either the center, Chris Dunn. Every single time. Like, Chris Dunn needs to cut more. Like him shooting threes, they ain't going to get it done.
But they have a bench, Zhu. They don't have to ride, They don't have to ride him all game, right? They can bring in Bogdanovich. They can bring in
Bogey.
Ben Simmons, right?
Yeah, that's another guy that can't shoot. That's another guy that can't shoot, too. That guy's only out there for defense right now. Even though he's a phenomenal defender.
2 defensive stoppers,
Yeah, he's a phenomenal defender. Yeah. He's still a phenomenal defender. But, that's so they do have holes on this roster, but I'm still leaning Clippers. The only thing is, if Jokic keeps putting up, Jokic putting up 35 points a game, like, if it requires that much, I don't think, like, he needs some help. Like, him putting up 35 and 10 is not a good thing. Because Jokic only does that when he has to. He wants to get his 10 to 15 assists and get people involved and score like around 24 points. When he starts scoring the 30 plus, that's when his team is just like, he's looking around. It's like, I got no help right now. So I got to.
Well, we see why the coach and GM's gone. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You see him, he's still coaching on the sidelines right now. He's pulling a Bill Russell. He's a player coach right now. He's a player coach right now. So he's the most valuable players in the playoffs for me still. But shout out to the Clippers and how they played in this series. But for me personally, I'm still leaning the Clippers, even though I wouldn't be mad if Jokic.
It don't sound like it, but
I wouldn't be mad.
Hey, you talking about Chris Dunn, man? Dude, they got 5 guys they can play.
Yeah, I don't get
it. And
I don't know. Chris Dunn he's playing pretty heavy minutes for 20+ minutes for a guy that has 0 on offense, 0. And what we're seeing right now in this playoffs is your weakest link on offense or defense, you're going to get targeted. You're going to get targeted. Leave that guy wide open. Target this guy on defense. You got to target the weak links on the offense because that's how you fight against a good team.
Why do you think the Timberwolves are up 3-1, man? They're just targeting the whole defense.
Their whole perimeter, yeah.
You got me there right now. Because right now this Nuggets Clippers series, I kind of see pretty much what I expected.
Yeah.
But this Lakers T-Wolves series, man, Jesus Christ, I did not see this Julius Randle. I have to be honest. As a guy who has watched a lot of playoff Knicks game and a lot of Julius Randle stats and looking how he plays during this game, this is a Julius Randle I've never seen before, and he's playing phenomenal basketball. I have nothing bad to say about Julius Randle in these playoffs. Nothing bad to say. First of all, he's shooting 45% from 3 right now. Obviously, he's playing out of his mind, and he's actually elevating in the playoffs instead of regressing in the playoffs. I got to give props to them that. Second, his physicality. Julius Randle has always been a strong guy. Like, coming out of high school, the dude was built 250. But right now, you see him, he's playing with that physicality. He's getting into LeBron. He's getting into Dorian Finney-Smith. He's getting into the other bigs on the roster, Rui Hachimura. Like, he is physically a presence right now, and he is extremely aggressive and shooting not his putrid high 30%. Like, Julius Randle is absolutely playing out of his mind right now. Like, in the regular season, 18.7 rebounds, 5 assists. Playoffs, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, 46%, 48% from the field, 46% from 3. So he's playing efficient basketball. I think he's playing really, really good defense, especially against LeBron. He's definitely stepped up the play as LeBron's physical, I'm physical too. He can match him body type. They're both 6'9", extremely strong forward. So that's number one thing. Julius Randle, I did not see that coming. And number 2, the fourth quarter execution, man. Jesus Christ. I did not see that coming. Because coming from a guy that you see Luka Doncic, LeBron James, 2 of the smartest players in the game, 2 of the best passers in the game. I would say Luka Doncic, one of the best closers in the game. I'm like, okay, if it's a close game, I can rely on LeBron and Luka 2-man game to get it done in the fourth quarter, especially when they're up 10 in the fourth quarter. You think you can close that? No. I saw an atrocity of closing a game against the Minnesota Timber Pups. But now look at him look like, whoa, no. Whoa,
we can't hear you, Zoo.
Jesus Christ.
You're getting muffled, Zoo.
The Timberwolves right now.
Oh, my God.
They are outclassing this old-looking Laker-ass team right now. Physicality. Man. Oh, he a man right now. He going up against the king. He's going against the Don. And he's going for the heads, ripping them off. That physicality. That 42. And his playmaking. Shout out to the Ant-Man's playmaking. That's the one thing in this game in last year's playoffs. I don't know. For sure. He can't pass that well, especially the double teams, right? When Ant-Man gets blitzed, we don't know how to just double teams. Oh, Ant-Man. Oh, Ant-Man getting dimes now. Ant-Man passing to it. We got to shout out this guy again. Jaden McDaniels. Jesus Christ. Why is he always good in the playoffs?
Man, he saw Jaden Daniels doing well, man. He had to live up to the name pretty much, you know?
Dude, seriously. Jaden McDaniels, shout outs to him because he had another big game. Big scoring. Like, he's averaging 20.7 rebounds, shooting 43% from 3. So shout out to Jaden McDaniels too. So you got Julius Randle, who's playing out of his mind. Jaden Daniels is playing better in the playoffs than the regular season. And Ant-Man's doing this with obviously that 0 on offense. Rudy Gobert, who invisible. Man. Rudy Gobert is an atrocity. How are they doing this, paying Rudy Gobert that much money? They have so many good players on this roster, but they got Rudy Gobert, and he's just invisible on offense. And Anthony Edwards is getting to the free throw line at a ridiculous clip. He's shooting the 3-pointer at a rate of Steph Curry right now. That's what Ant-Man's doing. His 3-point shot is ridiculous right now. And shout out to, again, Naz Reid.
Yeah.
All this guy does is play great defense off the bench, gets buckets, team guy,
in the fourth quarter.
really long, really athletic. Like, Naz Reid just always seems to do well off the bench. Like, he was 6th man of the year last year. Obviously, this year didn't win it, but he's playing out of his mind too.
Dude, he needs to be the Lakers 6th man, dude. He hasn't missed a shot in the fourth quarter in this series.
They need it. They need it because I still can't go over that point about the closing. That LeBron James 3-point shot from like 30 feet when they were
That was a bad shot.
That was terrible. If you guys remember that play, I was like, okay, they're actually controlling the game. Luka Doncic was dribble, didn't really do much, couldn't get past anybody. Pass to LeBron with 7 seconds on the shot clock, shoots a 30-footer for some reason. What are you doing? The game's not over. You're up barely. You're up 1 possession. What are you doing? And I got to do this game. Okay, Luka Doncic get tripped, whatever. They missed the call. I don't care about that. LeBron get the ball in bounds. Please.
Okay, Luka got fouled on that. Okay.
It was an atrocious pass. I don't know what because if you remember that was off like a timeout. That was off a timeout.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they drew up. They needed to get the ball inbounds with the second.
Luka also didn't give any effort to get to it because his ass is tired all the time.
Yeah.
It was bad execution on both ends. LeBron threw a bad pass, and Luka didn't even bend down to get it because Luka's out of shape.
Yeah.
He's out of shape.
But
go ahead.
Couldn't get the ball inbounds. And Jesus Christ, like these are 2 things you expect from a Lakers team.
Austin Reeves fouled too. He fouls on whatever makes it an 1.
Jesus, like Austin Reeves, obviously he had a 3-point shot, has a chance of redemption, missed the shot. I could live with that. He got a good look. It was a good looking 3. But the fourth quarter execution was an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. Yeah. Like they give it fatigue, whatever. No. You cannot play like that. Inbouncing the ball, fatigue, that should not be an excuse. So bad fourth quarter execution. JJ Redick got to be better. LeBron got to be better. Luka Doncic got to be better. Austin Reeves got to be better because this is an embarrassment. You're the better team. And this Timberwolves team right now is making the statement that we the more complete team. We got Anthony Edwards, who is the best player of the series right now.
Yeah.
Which is incredible to say because right now, if he pulls this off, beating LeBron and Luka in a playoff series in 5 games, that
would be crazy.
That is even Timberwolves fan didn't expect 5 games because that's a gentleman's sweep. Yeah, Jesus Christ. But shout out
I
to
also
Ant-Man.
think it could be a conversation if you want to sit there because everybody's going to try to compare it to LeBron because he's the quote unquote the whatever circle of being the best player for a long ass time. Nobody needs to start having conversations about Ant Edwards and Luka. Why is everybody going strictly to LeBron saying, "Oh, Ant-Man beat LeBron"? LeBron's 40. Like Ant-Man should be getting the best of LeBron. Why are we not talking about Ant-Man? Yeah, why are we not talking about Ant-Man and Luka? Why are we not talking about that?
Sean, because I would have to open up questions about who's the true face of the league.
Ant-Man keeps saying he don't want to be the face. I'm sorry.
No, sorry, bro. Like he wants
John Morant keeps getting bounced in the first round. He's out.
John Morant's clown.
Tatum has a chance this year if he goes crazy in the finals or something. No. But even still, he doesn't have the aura. Like Ant-Man has everything that you want within the face of the league. Yeah. And I keep saying it stems to like that 2 guard position. That's kind of because of Mike. That's kind of like, the high-flying, athletic 6'5", 6'6" wing. That's Kobe. That's kind of just the gateway. That's like it's like the suit you put on. It's like, what suit do I need? Well, you need to have on the 2-guard suit. You need to be about 6'6". You need to be able to high-fly dunk. That's the suit you got to have on to be the face of the league. And that's the entry point. And it is something to not just saying you got to be a 2-guard, but like above the rim athletes are always going to be more enticing and people are going to be drawn more to that. But like I said, I echo all of that. Like it's, Anthony Edwards, the confidence he got last year from playing through that whole series and going through those playoff series and playing, I think you're seeing it in this series juxtaposed to what you was talking about, P-Bush, with Houston. Like Houston, I mean, some could say if you just look at the rosters of Minnesota, Houston might have the more athletic roster. But you're just seeing now within playoff time, and when it comes to the point I've always talked about is like grown men, like when you've been through the trials and tribulations of the playoffs, stuff like this is not gonna phase you. And like you said, with Minnesota, I'm going to keep beating the drum. I think that matchup with the Lakers is just not as good a matchup versus if they would have got Golden State because of like that last. I think Golden State played the Clippers. I just think matchup wise, they have way bigger wings. Like I said, if Julius Randle's going to be shooting 45, 46% from three, you're going to win the series because he's a difference maker. Like you said, Rui Hachimura had a great game, and that was the reason why the Lakers were in it. But most people had always said, too, like if Luka and LeBron do what they're supposed to do and Austin plays whatever, the key factor will be Rui. Well, to your point, Austin Rivers hadn't had a good series because he can't get past none of those guys on the perimeter. That's just not his game. He can't get past those guys who Anthony Edwards and Jalen McDaniels. He can't do what he do. He can hit spot up threes. He can somewhat create, but he's not going to be the third level scorer that you had during the regular season that's going to be in the offseason. Like I said, it was poor execution. I know, and I kind of don't feel bad, but I do feel bad a little bit. I don't want to beat Reeves up too much for that N1 because you're reacting in that spot, but still, you give the N1 now that cuts the lead to whatever. Like I said, it was bad execution on LeBron throwing the pass going in. Luka didn't have any type of attempt, and Luka got the ball with however many seconds towards the end. He had the ball. He's a closer. What's the first thing he do? He gets double team, gives up to LeBron. There's no way that he did not see that double team coming as fast as it came or as slow as it came. He let that double team get to him. He just gave it up, and then LeBron had to get up at the last minute, give it to Reeves, and Reeves had the shot. Whatever, they make it. They probably lose in overtime. But I keep saying, like, the Lakers won the trade. But, like,
what did they win?
Like, what is it? Like, what is
traded old Anthony Davis for a 26-year-old superstar?
No, listen, they won the trade, but it's like
money. They're making more money.
For sure. But the thing is, we gotta like I just get sick of the narratives with like everybody wants to beat up on LeBron. Like, I've been saying for the longest, this needs to be Luka's team. You need to take more of an effort whenever your offseason starts. He needs to make a commitment to being a better conditioned athlete and someone who they can rely on for a playoff run. Because the idea, this is what LeBron was begging with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis didn't take it serious. Not saying I don't know these guys' lives, but he did not become the focal point that LeBron wanted him to become. He just relied on it because guess what's always happened in LeBron's career for the most part? Well, LeBron will just get it done. He always gets it done. He just always figures it out. He's always the best player.
True.
LeBron has been screaming for the last 3 to 4 years, hey, I came to LA to be a great player, sell magazines, raise my kids in this school, and get rings. And the way I can do that is if the guy that I got, even though he didn't quote unquote get Luka, you need to become the focal point. And to me, Luka, there was a bunch of times when he was switching on bigger defenders and he can't get by them. He cannot. And it's alarming. And it's like, don't get me started, because I had my friend actually call me today because he's a Lakers fan and he was talking about just whatever. And he was like asking me a bunch of questions. And he was like, has Luka, and he watches NBA, but he was like, does Luka always complain after every call? I was like, dude, did you watch my pod that I asked you to watch 1,000,000 times last year? He does it all the time. And what happens now that's even more glaring because he plays for the Lakers, when he's complaining about getting a no call, his ass don't get back on defense.
That's true. That's the worst.
Like,
That's
dude, you can't do that.
Man, he doesn't get
it's
back
so
on
bad.
He can't give up points on the other end.
You can't do that. And it's like, I don't know if it's just his age and it's like people are thinking he's going to get better, or if it's just people just have and Brian Windhorst, I can't say he didn't because he called it out. But there are not a lot of people in the media who speak on that. They just talk. They just
shout out Windy.
He's the one that, and I give him credit. Like I said, maybe Luka's got some goons where if you speak crazy about him, maybe they come and get you. Like that might be what it is. And if it is, if you're Luka's goons, don't come after me. I'm just stating the facts. But it's just like there needs to be a concerted effort, and he needs to maybe look at LeBron as like hey, what are you doing to stay conditioned? Like, what are you doing? Like somebody, like, what are you doing? Because to me,
for 22 years, he's
like
played 3.5 seasons of playoff basketball alone.
Yes, and last year's run shows that he has the capability to do it. He freaking led Dallas to the finals last year. I know he had Kyrie, but still, so it's in there. But is there going to be a commitment to? Nobody's saying he's going to be a two-way defender, but you got to be. To your point about Jokic, like nobody's confusing him with a defensive stopper, but he's not a net negative. Mm-hmm. You got to be something. And I know perimeter is different from down low. I get it, but that's just something I'm observing because it's like I don't miss me with the like just this is Luka's whatever. Like Luka, he's got to be the guy. And like I said, as great as LeBron is, him playing that amount of minutes and JJ Redick, like I said, you're playing on stuff like He's not Superman. Neither is Luka, neither is whatever. Like, the guys were playing great in the regular season, and now you're just riding these guys. And maybe he thought because they were down 2-1, he's got to do that. But they got to figure something out with that because, like I said, and he is, again, a rookie head coach. So maybe we're seeing a difference from regular season head coach to what it would be in the playoffs. So all that's a learning system. Like I said, all is not lost because you do have Luka. But there needs to be some decisions made because, like, to your point, Zhu, that execution in the fourth quarter should not happen with two guys who are presumably probably the smartest guys that ever play basketball. It's unacceptable. And Rui Hachimura gave you a crazy game too. So, like I said, you covered the switching to Houston and Golden State. Like I said, obviously Houston is just kind of not really in the phase right now. And there's steps to becoming a great team, good enough for Golden State. Like I said, they probably push it to 6, but I just don't see them winning in Golden State to get to the 6. I really, in the East, it's a lot, like I said, it's sweeps, whatever. But I will say, I absolutely love the Boston-Orlando series, even though Boston's up 3-1. Because it's obvious what they're missing, dude. It's so obvious what they're missing. And when I watched that last game they had, like, they compete with Boston. It's just they don't have the – I mean, Jalen Suggs is a defensive guy. He's a defensive guy, but he's also a ball handler. But, like, no, all right. that's crazy. And I was with you with Chris Dunn. I think he's a positive player for the Clippers, but he's just not the offensive threat. But it's so obvious what they need. And KCP had a couple threes, but to me, it's they don't have that primary guard that can get them in and out of assists. He don't have to be a point guard, but just a guy who can get his own shot off the dribble. Like, seriously, if Bradley Beal wasn't such a disappointment, a guy like that, seriously, if it was the Bradley Beal we know in Washington that could score and get buckets, like that type of guard. And I'm going to keep beating this drum, dude. If I'm Devin Booker, I'm doing whatever I can to figure out how to get to Orlando or Detroit. I'm figuring that out. I don't want to be in Phoenix anymore if I'm him. Because if I get with that Orlando team and they had a guy like Devin Booker, I think they win that series. I think he gets them enough, or at least go 7. I think they get them enough chances. Because if you even look at that in that game 4, like they kept coming back. Like I want to say Franz or Paulo, one of them two made like a shot. I can't remember. And it got to like a 3-point game. And I think they called a timeout or a 2-point game, something like that. Called timeout. And then they had that little play that Chris Stapps, and he had like the and one dunk. Mm-hmm. Then it kind of started, they started going, it's kind of separating a little bit. But even when you watch Boston, it just feels like, and I know they're probably not taking it serious because it's Orlando, but it's like, it feels like it's still 3 or die. So it's like, if their threes are not going, you're now depending on Jaylen Brown and Tatum foul hunting, which they were doing, I felt like they were doing a lot of, and they were getting it because they're defending champs. But Orlando is keeping up with them. And to me, it's just, I think that series would be so much more interesting if they had they don't have to be Devin Booker, but a guard who's like an Anthony Simons. Like if they had him, if you guys are familiar with him, like in Portland, like he's a bucket getter at combo guard that's a really good ascending guard. They had someone like that. They just don't have nobody dynamic at guard right now. So that's a series that I'm interested in.
Yeah, especially with the Suggs injury, you're rocking Corey Joseph at the point guard position.
Yeah, that throwback. Talk about a throwback.
Corey Joseph, like the guy averaged 3 points a game.
No one is doing anything on that team outside of Paolo and Franz. I mean, Wendell Carter had decent games here and there, but man, it is
supplementary pieces.
That is the definition of a 2-man show, and that's it. Like it's actually shocking to watch. I know Suggs is hurt, and I'm not bashing him.
Suggs is not an offensive guy. I don't think defensively. I don't think defensively though he's bothering Tatum or Brown, but it make the series.
I think he's a really good guard defender. I think he'll be really good at bothering like the point guards.
Yeah, like the Drew and Derek White, those guys to neutralize them for sure. Yeah. So my heart breaks for the entire city of Milwaukee. Like it really feels like you sold your soul for that championship they won when they beat.
It's all good.
It's just been a downward spiral since that, and Dame it's just unfortunate. Like I said, usually when you're dealing with any type of lower leg injury and that timeline is usually like, oh, he might be out for a long, long time, and then he miraculously comes back. It means you're fighting through something you shouldn't be, and then your body's overcompensating, and then boom, there goes your Achilles, because that's usually the first thing that goes. It's just, tale as old as time, or how you say that phrase. So sucks for them. Like I said, I kind of wanted to see Milwaukee in the second round just because I'm just a personal fan of Giannis. I like him a lot, but there might be a lot more rumors.
They're winning in overtime right now.
A little bit of fire. Yeah, I mean. Have fun. If you get it to 7 games, that'll be a major accomplishment. I'll just put it that way. But, it is what it is. I do agree it was a foul in that Pistons series, but not mad at the no call. Just not, because it's like, it is what it is. They, it's within it's probably 2-3 seconds, whatever the foul happened. So what just happened?
Giannis has 30, 20, and 13 assists, and Gary Trent Jr. has 33 points right now. He's pulling
That's
Lillard,
the
man.
Gary Trent having 33 is the fakest box score I've ever seen in my life.
What was it was Gary Harris. That's who I was thinking of. The Bulls, when the Bulls had him and traded him. But
Yeah.
Gary Trent.
And then to wrap up, OKC, Cleveland, they're the number one team for a reason. Feels like a collision course. I will be very, very, very interested to see how their conference final matchups goes, because that might be some of the best basketball we've had in a while. If those particular teams make it to the conference final. So I do agree. Physicality, just wrapping it all up in the playoffs, I do think it's been probably one of the more physical series playoffs that we've had in a while. And I do like it. Like, I do like that it feels like they're having to earn every bucket. It feels like, a lot of the players who are maybe not considered, I don't know, physical players are having to step their game up, figure out ways to score. And it's interesting to watch. So, like I said, I think we kind of all saw how the, West was going to be. Like, the West, even though they were seeded a certain way, if you watched basketball this season, you kind of saw all of these teams play. A lot of these teams that were lower seeds could definitely get it done. So, we'll see how it all turns out. Like I said, I'm interested to see who gets into the conference semis and conference finals and things like that. And like I said, this is what makes this time of the year great. So transitioning to our NFL discussion, like most people, draft started on Thursday. And I would say people who are not draft nicks, but people who like NFL definitely watch Thursday, because it's kind of like a primetime event, and that's how they set it up. But, maybe they got into it on Friday and they definitely didn't watch Saturday. So going through the draft, every year they have these draft grades. And full disclosure, a lot of people always talk about, what does this mean? Like, nobody ever really looks at these draft grades like a year from now and be like, oh, do you see they didn't really work like that? But it is interesting and nice to just kind of talk about who do you think had a good or bad draft. So, Zhu, who was your, standout team for the NFL draft?
Man, for me, it was the biggest trade of the night. It was the Travis Hunter trade in the haul that the Cleveland Browns had. Because for me personally, I remember, okay, Tennessee Titans going to get their QB of the future, hopefully. Cam Ward, okay, he goes. That number 2 spot where there was no clear quarterback, and they obviously need one right now. They obviously need one, but they looked around and analyzed, like, nah, there's no QB right there. All right, Travis Hunter, two-way guy, but what's he going to do on a team without a quarterback? He's a win-now type of guy. He's a win-now type of guy, and the haul that they got for Travis Hunter, a future first-round pick, and they just dropped down 3 spots to the 5th pick? To the 5th? First of all, the Jacksonville Jaguars next year, who knows how many wins they're going to win? Like, who knows? Like, Trevor Lawrence after this year, I'm kind of out on Trevor Lawrence. Like, this year was one of the most.
Finally.
Like he had the last couple of years, like 2 years ago. It was a long time ago. It was a long, long time ago. But Trevor Lawrence, like, he might be one of the most overpaid quarterbacks right now. And who knows how many wins they have next year. So they have, obviously, their own pick of next year, because I don't think they're going to be that good because they don't really have a quarterback right now. So they're going to have their own pick. They get the Jacksonville Jaguars pick, might be good. Maybe T-Law gets nicked up again. Like, who knows? That might be a really high pick, too. So you got potentially 2 really high picks in a year in a draft that next year they say, okay, they're a little more quarterback prospects next year. Like, I'm no draft expert, but that's what I hear.
They're way better
this
next
year.
Yes.
This year versus next year. Like, this year, not much excitement at the quarterback position, but next year, a little more excitement. So you got 2 lottery tickets next year to get a potential quarterback, and you got a number 5 pick right there, and you got a guy that you wanted. So I'm telling you right now. So I'm looking at this Cleveland Browns team like, he did all right flipping that number 2 pick and got a haul for a guy in Travis Hunter. Like, great story. Good for Travis. He going home, right? He going home, Jacksonville. Like, it's a cute story. But I don't think he's going to do much in a Jacksonville Jaguars roster where I'm not too impressed with that team. Like, who knows how many wins? Are they going to win 7 games next year? 8 wins? Like, I think I got the under on 8. So, like, I don't think they're going to be an elite football team. Especially, I don't see any other significant like additions they made to that roster to make them a playoff contender, even though their division is extremely, extremely weak. So, for me personally, what the Cleveland Browns is, like, hey, you don't see the quarterback you want. You drop down and get a pick, and then, oh, look at that. You get Shedeur in the 5th round pick. Why not? Why not get Shedeur in the 5th round? Who cares? Like, I don't know anything about how good Shedeur Sanders is. Like, I really don't know. He could be the 2nd best, or he could be the 5th best. Like, who knows how good he is? But at least You get a little dart. You got 2 quarterback dart throws. And this Daniel, like, I don't really know how much about the other quarterback they took either. But you got 2 dart throws there. See what happens with those guys. Who knows? They battle out with Joe Flacco. Like, it's like you can never have too many quarterbacks. You got no quarterbacks. Like, you got the whole. Yeah, exactly. You don't
lose any. They already paid their money.
Exactly. Yeah, Deshaun already robbed them, so they learned their lesson, and now they're trying to recuperate some assets so they could potentially get the savior, which is going to be next year. So,
and who knows? Maybe Sanders does come in and he
maybe Sanders does get. Like, I don't know why he dropped. Like, there's a lot about he botched his interviews. Like, he botched his.
That was the main reason.
He cocky. Like, he didn't take his interview seriously. He thought he was a blue chip prospect, but clearly he was more of a borderline prospect instead of like one of those top 10 elite picks. So maybe he got cocky and stupid, but you get this guy for the 5th round. Why not? 5th round picks are dart throws, and you get 2 quarterbacks in this draft too, and you got no quarterbacks. I love what the Cleveland Browns did. I absolutely love what they did.
Browns with the positive, and I'm pretty sure didn't they bring in Quinshon Judkins too to replace Chubb? I mean, they got an RB too to pair with Jerome Ford. They're slowly rebuilding this team.
They're rebuilding.
They're in a tough division, man. They're the 4th team out of 4, and with a wide margin between the Steelers and them at 3 and 4 respectively at this point. But they're progressing. In 3 years, they might have a full roster. Unfortunately, Myles Garrett will kind of be aged out by then, but that's why they took Mason Graham as a D tackle in the 1st round. Get him to be, learn from one of the best in the game, and hopefully, transition to the league in a mature fashion, right? I agree with you. Browns are up there with one of my favorites. To be honest, though, Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., if he plays wide receiver,
fantasy-wise, it's going to be exciting to see what they can do.
They can do, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know about the wins. Like, fantasy football might be nice, but the wins, I don't know.
Yeah, well, come on, Zoo. We're all about fantasy football.
I know. Brian Thomas is a stud, an absolute stud. So,
but honestly, Sean, you said this, man. Who was watching day 3 of the draft, man? We all know one guy was Shedeur Sanders, man. He went on day 3, so he was watching. But I agree, Zoo. I think them taking dart throws is important because why not? They have five dudes that are going to be fighting for that starting position and really the backup as well, because that's going to be the first person that gets tapped when the first guy falls down with injury or plays horribly, right? So everyone's got a chance there. I do think it'll probably come down to Flacco and Shedeur if I were to guess, but why not take the shot? So yeah, I really like the Browns. They were up there for me. I kind of like what the Giants did. Jackson Dart. A lot of people were surprised that Shedeur did not go at that point in the draft. Little did they know there were 4 rounds to play out after that. Jackson Dart, man, Ole Miss, I'm fine with it. Take it once again. You're taking a shot, right? They messed up on Daniel Jones, or they thought they had something with Daniel Jones, then realized what of a horrible mistake they did, right? Did not do too much last year with passing on Jaden Daniels. I mean, that was a big issue, right? And now they're kind of like, all right, I think we just have to take a shot. They used their 25th pick to do it, which I'm not mad at all. I really like Abdul Carter. Man, Sean, we've talked about this for years. People sleep on the Giants defense, man, and their defensive line just got one of the scariest in the NFL.
They're going to be crazy, yeah.
But if Jackson Dart can play relatively well with Malik Neighbors, and they got Cam Scatabo with Tyrone Tracy, a solid 1-2 punch. That's another great draft pick, in my opinion, at a good value in the 4th, 5th round with Scatabo. This offense could be above average. Average. Let's say average. We'll say average. But their defense will be top 5.
Yeah.
Their defense could be top 5 easy. And that makes for a scary team in a division that is very difficult.
I got a question. Do you think Dart is going to play year 1, or is it going to be a Russ's show? Obviously, because they gave him the contract.
He's not going to play year 1.
You don't think he'll play year 1?
Unless someone gets hurt.
You think he's going to do the Jordan Love instead of year?
Probably.
Yeah, because you bring Russ in there to start.
Yeah, I mean, Russ could pull a Kirk Cousins, man. He could have a Kirk Cousins season.
That's possible too, because Kirk, nobody saw that coming. Yeah.
Right? No one saw that coming. Everyone thought Kirk was going to be serviceable. Obviously, off the Achilles was a little bit more of a concern than Russ coming into this coming season. But I think Dart, I mean, yeah, let him learn a little bit from Mr. Cornball himself and Russell Wilson. But I don't know. I just think once again, they're kind of like the Browns in the sense that they're slowly building up their team in every other position, and they're waiting for the quarterback to come in at the right time. Will that be this year or the following? I don't know, but they got their guy, and they're going to try and develop him. And then the other team, man, I got to shout out. I really like what the Patriots did. I know they're kind of everybody's like grade 1 for the draft. Will Campbell, they gave Drake May a solid left tackle, the best in the draft to a lot of people's standards. But I also really liked what they did with Travion Henderson, man. He's just a 99% better version of Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, he's great. He's a great receiving back. That's exactly what that's what the Patriots like to use. And it helps Drake May. It helps young quarterbacks, giving check down running backs. But we know he can also run the ball extremely well. And I really like the Kyle Williams guy, Sean. I don't know if you're too familiar with him out of Washington State, the wide receiver. They got to just continue giving him weapons opportunities. I know it's not the best, but they addressed 3 positions all on the offense, which I think they needed to do. They've always focused on the defense in drafts. We also know that Vrabel is going to coach that defense extremely well above their actual talent level. So they needed to add all the extra talent onto the offensive side. Protect the quarterback, give him a run game, give him some more weapons, and see what he can do. I'm fine with all these teams that have been atrocious for years, taking a couple chances, but doing it in a poised fashion. I think they're all doing it in a poised fashion with this year's draft.
I think with the Patriots, you just kind of got to just throw whatever you can at the receiver situation. Like, some may hit, some may not. The Pope pick last year, I don't think is going to hit, but maybe he turns up because now he's got another guy coming in after him. So we'll see how that goes. I do think the Travion Henderson pick is just the thunder and lightning to Stevenson, because I still think Stevenson is a good back, but they need some oomph in the backfield, some guys that could take it 80 yards. So that was good by them. 2 teams for me that I was just like, these are solid drafts and solid picks. I absolutely love that Green Bay went against their theory and went for a receiver. Because Matthew Golden was my receiver one. And if you, if you're not a college football fan, whatever, you don't care about Texas, whatever, but go watch the Texas-Arizona State game last year, and really most of the playoffs when Texas was viable. He makes every big catch. He is just that type of inside out. You can put him in the slot, put him on the outside. He's just going to make plays. He ran like under a 4.3, just playmaker. And I think that's going to be super important for a guy like Jordan Love, because the thing about the Packers is they draft well receiver, but it's kind of like a lot of not bargain basement guys, but a lot of guys that's 2nd, 3rd round. That's like they got good skill sets. Like Dontavius Wicks is okay.
Dobbs is solid. I'm forgetting the guy. Christian Watson's just always injured, so you kind of can't depend on him. But they kind of always have just a bunch of okay guys. I think but Matthew Golden has a chance to be, if anything, a super duper 2. And if he really comes in and plays how I think he could be a 1 for them. And that's just going to help Jordan Love even more. Because to me, 2 things I'm never worried about with the Packers. They're always going to be good on defense on all 3 levels. And their offensive line is always good. So I feel like they're always going to be good in those 2 spots. So like, to me, getting a difference maker at that position potentially is something that I really appreciate. And it speaks to Jordan Love's character, because they didn't do that really for Aaron Rodgers, which is, I guess that's another story. But they still got him damn good wide receivers, though.
They got him.
They kept the theory going for years, but they realized maybe it was Rodgers making these guys really good.
Yeah, and maybe you need to get a guy that could actually go get it. But also too, absolutely love what Washington did. Did not fall into the trap, and when I'm saying Washington Commanders, did not fall into the trap. Oh, let's maybe get another weapon for Jaden Daniels. No, we're going to draft at the bottom of the 1st round another tackle who some would say has the most potential of the class, but character and things like that. And he did start early and he kind of struggled. So maybe people are thinking about the adjustment, but he has the chance to be a franchise left tackle. You already got Larry Tunsil. So if the dude does come in and impress early, you mean to tell me you have a franchise left tackle and then you have Laramie Tunsil as your right? Like, Jaden Daniels is probably not going to be getting touched for a very long time. Also, like, they got Trey Amos, was another lockdown corner, and they got a couple other pieces. I'm forgetting their names, but they were on defense, which is they're following kind of the Patrick Mahomes route. It's like, okay, you get a couple guys in free agency, but you focus the draft on defensive guys and stuff on the offensive line. Because you saw what the Chiefs did a couple of picks later, they got an offensive lineman too. So those are 2 teams that I absolutely love what they did. Everything else kind of feel like the teams just draft to the identity, if you look at John Harbaugh, he drafts a running back in the later the 1st round of Marion Hampton, kind of just makes sense with what he's trying to do. 49ers, I think I thought they were going to go after Tyler Warren when the Bears got Colston, but I think they drafted Michael Williams was the defensive lineman. But if you think about it, that adds up, because what do the 49ers hang their hat on for the most part is elite defensive line play. So if he hits, you'll have another guy opposite of Nick Bosa. So it kind of all adds up to what the teams did. Like I said, with Shedeur, the more and more I kept reading, it just feels like I think him and his management overplayed his hand in terms of what he thought he was going to be. And I think with that mentality, he came in not taking interviews serious. And this is just a lesson for anybody. This is a lesson for, it don't matter what field you're in. Mm-hmm. You could be the best of the best. Anytime you take an interview, do the best you can to do in the interview, because you don't know what doors could be open. You could have a job offer somewhere else, and they could always say, hey, you're coming in. You're going to be the guy for us. And it's like, oh, you're starting in 3 weeks. You get another interview with this X company. Oh, you may not take it as serious because you already got that job in hand, but I'm still going to go in there professional, because who knows? What if that company folds in a year and then people remember me? Then guess what? Now I'm at that company and I got a foot in the door because they remember the interview. Like, I don't understand the logic of thinking that you can just not take this stuff serious. That's just, you can't do that in no facet of life. It's just not sports. So I don't understand why allegedly that was happening. So, but like I said, I think Zhu made the point, like, about there's not a good quarterback draft. If one team is not falling in love with you, you're kind of seeing, like, if you're not a elite talent in whatever aspect, as an arm throw or whatever, they're going to wait. They're not going to take you in second and third. They're going to get good players. And to your point, the value of Shedeur in the 5th round is just too much to pass up. So hopefully this is a lesson to where, like I said, you can have your opinions about, like, was it bad or was it wrong? That can be debated. But now Shedeur, this is what they think of you. You now need to go and prove, like, I'm better than 5th round. Because if he does that, the Browns, like I said, they've always had a really good defense. They got Quinshon Judkins. Like, yeah. And they're going to – listen, if Shedeur goes in there and just maybe in the first 3 years, he's a starter and he's just capable, and he just maybe somehow gets them to, like, playoff talk but not in the playoffs, he's going to get paid a bag. He's going to get – my theory. If you're just good for 2.5 years, you're getting a bag. Trevor Lawrence, perfect example. How many years has he been consistently good? Maybe one?
You can even say.
One.
Maybe.
One. He got a bag. So you really – I take that back. I take all that back. Just be good for a year. Just be good. Get him to the playoffs.
He was a first overall pick, so that's also fine.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So, yeah, it is a little bit of a – and I don't know, like, because Brock was when he was 7th. So, like, I don't know what a 5th rounder gets paid versus a 7th round quarterback. I don't know what, like, the pay scale is on, like, the first couple years.
All I know is he's making less in the NFL than an NIL in college.
Well, that makes sense.
Quinn Ewers was another guy who fell and he went to the Miami Dolphins. But I always tell people, some guys, like, I know people's like, well, he could have went to Notre Dame and got a bag. Some guys, if you've been on campus I think Quinn's been on campus for 4 years, you just want to leave. You don't, the money, like, if you've made as much money as, like, Quinn's made a lot, because he was the guy that when NIL first started, he got that huge bag from Ohio State, cashed in on that, didn't play it down for them, and then went back to Texas and got another bag. So, like, he's gotten paid a handsome amount. Like, and that second bag he got was Texas, I want to say his redshirt freshman year. I think he played that year. But anyways, like, but some guys just don't want to be in college anymore. So, like, you just, and, want to start the pro clock early. Like, listen, Quinn Ewers is going to be eating at prime 112 now, besides the calf at whatever nice restaurant, whatever's in Texas. So, I mean, I think that's a nice trade-off. And with Tua being hurt all the time, he might play.
That's also true with the concussions, yeah.
Sleeper fantasy pick.
All right, Zoo's taking Tyreek first overall again, man.
I can't wait till we have that pod, and, like, just looking at how this draft went, especially running back wise, I cannot wait to evaluate some fantasy options for sure. Oh yeah, I forgot about Ashton. Went to the Raiders.
I told you all he was going to Raiders, man. I knew they were going to take him.
They want their Marshawn Lynch.
Pete Carroll got him. He got him. I don't.
Well, you better use him this time.
Yeah, he better actually use them this time, or Pete Carroll would have multiple rings. So, but I love the NFL draft. Like I said, I watched the first day, watched a little bit of the second day, didn't really care for the 5th day. I mean, I was watching on my phone. I wasn't sitting at the house watching it because I figured Shedeur would get picked, but I just didn't know when or where on that 3rd day. But like I said, shout out to all these guys who got into the draft. Hopefully they have successful careers. They can get to their second contracts. And like I said, fantasy season is right around the corner. So you guys tune in right now, though, for the NBA playoffs. The content for that on the page will be primarily the focus. Like I said, I still have some Shedeur stuff up there that people are biting on. And taking a bait on. I love when stuff like that happens because now people are you write the stupidest of like captions and you just put a GIF or whatever and people just eat it up like it's
Sean,
like
you gotta let me cook up. You gotta let me cook up a nice little Luka post when they lose in Game 5. Come on.
Oh God! Listen, I already got one of those. Like when I put that clip up last year. That when I had that clip of Luka when I was talking about Luka and Brian Windhorst when I got pissed off in that finals. That is the only time any of my friends commented on like my podcast. Any stuff I ever done, they've never said anything else. But the Luka thing, and a lot of them because they're Luka guys. They were just like, oh, you got to understand. And they stat me to death. I'm like, I don't give stats, man. I know what I watched. But anyways, that's gonna be the forefront of what we're gonna be talking about on the pod for the next couple of days. So make sure you guys tune in. Tyson Talks _ on Instagram. Quantro Knows on YouTube. Make sure you give us a 5-star review on both audio and video platforms so we get algorithms. And for me, Zhu, and P. Bush, we are out.